In the early hours of June 6, 1944, just after parachuting into Normandy, Richard Winters located his men from Easy Company. They informed him that the German artillery had taken down their entire headquarters, including their commanding officer. As a first lieutenant in the 101st Airborne, with Allied forces still hours away from landing at Utah Beach, Winters assumed command. Recalling the harrowing experience, Winters said, "It started on D-Day under machine gun fire. When I saw others next to me get hit just because they lifted their head up at the wrong time, I knew I could be killed too. I said, 'My dear God, if I live through this, all I want is peace and quiet.'" As the night turned to day, Winters led his group of 13 men in a daring assault on a German artillery position, which was firing on the primary exits from Utah Beach. Known as the Brecourt Manor Assault, the attack would later be studied at West Point as an example of military strategy. Winters' successful leadership and his efforts to secure a map of German positions earned him a promotion to captain. Easy Company would soon find themselves in the Netherlands for Operation Market Garden in September 1944. Winters led a small force of just 20 men in an attack against 200 German soldiers. 3 months later, they were in Bastogne, Belgium, during the Battle of the Bulge. As the Germans launched a brutal counter-offensive on December 16, 1944, Winters and his men held their ground against overwhelming odds. For nearly a week, the 101st Airborne, trapped in the freezing cold with limited supplies, faced off against about 15 German divisions. Despite the intense pressure, Winters remained steadfast, holding out until General George Patton's Third Army arrived to relieve them. In April 1945, 8 days after Adolf Hitler's suicide, Winters was promoted again and tasked with leading his men to capture the dictator's Alpine retreat, Berchtesgaden. The mission was a success, and the company reached the retreat by May 5th, just 2 days before Nazi Germany officially capitulated. Winters remained in Europe during the post-war demobilization, personally accepting the surrender of German soldiers. A key moment from this period was portrayed in Band of Brothers, when Winters, in a show of restraint, declined a German officer's offer of a Luger. In reality, the officer was a major, not a colonel, and Winters accepted a different pistol, a Walther PP. Winters returned to the U.S. on November 4, 1945, aboard a ship from Marseille. After the war, he briefly considered a military career in planning and training, but ultimately resigned in 1951, after refusing orders to redeploy to Korea, just after marrying. Winters then pursued a civilian career and largely kept his experiences private for decades. In 1990, Stephen Ambrose would write a book that would ultimately inspire the HBO series Band of Brothers. The rest is history.